Hi, I'm Nate Lindquist, I'm the Minimalist CEO, and my job is to help every business owner who I work with look at a business in a very simple way, just to simplify how it is that you see your business, how you see growing your business, to go through the 3 steps that are imperative to growing and improving and creating a simple, powerful, successful, high leverage, profitable, lifestyle improving business. So high leverage, highly profitable, and excellent lifestyle creating business. That's my commitment. So you can work anywhere, you can do what you love. In this video, I'm going to talk about how you inject freedom into one of the 8 different areas that you need for growing a business. So there's 8 different business centers. One of the most important centers that takes up so much of our time, it's actually the biggest time waster in business, is communication. People want your time, they want your input, and every communication, if you think about it, is designed to create a change, to get a result. So you have one result that you're getting. Perhaps, there's a design that you need to get back for a logo or a design for a website, or maybe there's a particular product that needs a feature change. So one of your engineers is communicating, okay, here's what we've come up with. What do you think? Can you give us a response? Any communication from a vendor, from a teammate, even from someone personally, is looking to create some sort of influence or change from how things are. So think of how many people you communicate with every day and how much energy you put into that. The average American worker, and this is just in America right now, the average American worker is spending 6.3 hours checking email. That means knowing that most people are productive for about 2 to 3 hours a day. So that means that really you are using 3 times or 3.5 times your productive time during the day, wasting it on communicating through email. So we need to really fix that. That's a huge way. You could literally get 15, 20 or more hours back during your day to put it into growing your business, to invest it into your lifestyle, into creating leverage, and to creating more profit and value for your clients and for yourself if you could get your communication straight. So this is how we want to do it. Recognize the traditional way that people communicate. This is what I call high-speed response. Most people say, I've got to quickly recognize that I got a phone call, I've got to answer that phone call, and I've got to give a high-speed response. Or I get an email, I better be checking email or my voicemail all the time so I can give what I would call a high-speed response. Now, high-speed responses, 9 times out of 10, are also low-value responses. They're low-value responses for a couple different reasons. The first reason is that low-value responses usually happen so fast that you don't have the information that you need to give a reasonable or healthy response. So a high-speed response might be, I want to get this person off my back, I want to show them that I'm paying attention and that I'm available. Perhaps it's a boss or a team member, but you want to show, hey, I'm super responsive. But what's usually missing from a high-speed response is you having enough information, and also the second thing that's missing is you giving someone the ability to know when and how you're going to respond so that you can get the best value out of your communication. So if you're going to get the best value out of your time and the best value out of your communication, you need to be very clear about how you communicate. So let's give you some of that time back. If you want your business to give you freedom, you've got to inject freedom into it. None of your business communications will give you freedom to be able to focus and work on what's essential as a minimalist in your business if you don't inject freedom into your communications. So again, you look at the high-speed response system that has really low value. Let's move you into what I call a batch response system. And this is where you think ahead. You think out, what information would I need to gather from every single person who I communicate with? So go and take an inventory of every single person that you communicate with and think about the kinds of questions you know they're going to ask you on a regular, daily, weekly, monthly basis. And think about what information would you need back from them, what would you need to communicate with them, and then how can you set an expectation when and how you can respond to them and they can respond to you? That's what's most important in communication, because then you can take the time to gather enough information and respond in a way where they know you might not need to be nagged anymore. They don't need to keep calling you 5, 6, 7 times for the same communication. Instead of wasting all that time and interrupting your focus and distracting you throughout the day, you can say, okay, at 2 o'clock or at 3 o'clock every day, I'll respond to every request for information where you need information from me so we can get that result that you're looking for, which of course helps me get the result that I want in growing my business. So again, rather than the instant response, that quick response, we're going to move into batching your contacts, okay? Batching your communication. And what you do is you work with an assistant and you look at all the different types of communications that you're getting throughout the day. And you communicate with your assistant what process you'd like to follow. And here's the things that you want to standardize. In communicating with your assistant, you want to teach your assistant and you want to teach your team members this is how you're going to communicate. The first thing is you want to say, okay, I want you to communicate all the specific information about the situation. The situation includes what's the change that I want, what exactly is happening, and what needs to change, what shift needs to take place, and what are the specifics. So whatever that is, if there's colors, if there's weights, if there's shapes, if there's times, dates, other people involved, I want you to share the situation. 2, I want you to share specifically what is the result that you want. Knowing that every project in communication is designed to create change, what is the result that you want? 3 is, if a specific change is needed, describe the change. We need to change from this to this. So even though you'd have an end result, what is the change? What's the shift that's going to happen? What's the movement? Be able to communicate that specifically. All right. And then 4 is, what is the measurable outcome? So once you've gotten the result, what does that mean? So if you have a measurable outcome, think about what does that mean in the big picture of hitting the goals of the company and the relationship with this person who you're communicating with. And then 5, what is the deadline to report? So if someone on your team needs you to get back to them, what is the deadline? What is the sense of urgency where you need me to get back to you? And then vice versa, when are you going to get back to me if I respond? I need to know when and how is best to get back to you. And that is how we standardize communication. And we can even say, okay, I'm going to share it with you via a software tool. I'm going to share it with you via email. But I generally use Basecamp or I use Asana, 2 really good planning tools where I know the communication will be there and it won't get lost in email. All right, so standardizing with an assistant allows you to have that one communication with everyone on your team, every response and change that's needed one time per day. I generally do it at around 2:30, and you could pick that one time. And if there's an emergency, it doesn't mean you can't take it, but let's shift from emergencies and people nagging and needing just-a-minute meetings all the time to having that one time during the day where communication is sharp, it's focused, and it's effective. And also then you can do it, and you'll find yourself sharing your communications in 10 minutes to 15 minutes, sometimes maybe half an hour once a day, instead of 6.5 hours scanning email, trying to look productive and have a lot of movement without being effective. Let's work on the right things in the right way with your communication. This is how you create freedom. Because the truth is, as a minimalist CEO, you'll find that boundaries and structure like I'm describing will create freedom. Just like water in a pipe is a boundary, right? You put a pipe around water, it creates the freedom because the water will only run where you need it to go. Your communication needs to run in the right way where you need it to go and nowhere else. You don't want it to get distracted, you don't want it to get confused and diluted, and you don't want it distracting you. All right? The next thing you want to do is you want to allow your assistant in your team to batch their information back to you. So you have to give them an ability to ask you questions and suggest how often during the day, the week, or the month where you will make yourself available to answer questions, so then they don't have to constantly be checking in with you, wondering if you're going to get back to them. You have to set and make a promise, make that communication, and then follow through. And then what I want you to do is help people share, okay, on your team, this is what I would also tell me in this communication. 1, what would you suggest is an outcome? So if you say, I really need help with this, you're communicating with me that you don't know what to do or you have a problem, you're on the team because I trust your judgment and because you're giving me input as a professional or as a team member. There's some value that you're going to bring in your experience. So you need to empower your team members to say, what would you suggest? Give me a specific course of action, not just that I have a problem, but what would you do about it? And why would you do that? And then understand that in the growth, the optimization of business communications or any aspect of the 8 areas of business, optimizing anything gives you the ability to ask this question. What people, what materials, or what specifics are needed to move this forward? We're looking for constant improvement in communication. So it's as simple as that. Batch your communication, standardize your communication. Just come up with a standard. This is the information you need to share in your communication, and then describe very clearly where and when we will have these communications each day, and then get an assistant to handle the back and forth based on these specifics. Then you no longer have to be the person that says, oh, I have to handle that. You can say, I have an assistant who will batch, who will collect together 15, 20, 5 or 6, whatever communications, and then I can focus the other 4, 5, 8, whatever hours of my workday. Instead of spending 6.3 hours on email, I can spend it on doing my value-creating work and get massively productive so that when I know I've got my 10 minutes of batching Q&A, going, getting back to other people or looking for information from me, I'll know I'll have the situation, the result that's needed, the change that's needed, the specific method and time for communication, and a suggestion from them. Exactly how we're going to get the result that we all need to move forward. Inject freedom in your communication. I'm going to tell you, you follow through on what I'm sharing in this video. When I did it, I was able to save about 20 hours a week just by doing this. And I can put my energy into the growth and the marketing of my business and creating value for my products and services. Go through and implement what I've shared with you. I'll give you a couple of the pointers also. So below this video, I want you to look into the blog post as well at natelindquist.com and see the steps that I've shared with you. If you have questions, by all means, message me on Facebook at facebook.com/natelindquistresults. And you can reach out to me on natelindquist.com by clicking contact and just ask me a question. I am more than happy. As a business coach and a growth consultant, I'm here to help you get better results and inject freedom into every aspect of your business. The more structure and freedom you create in your business, the more boundaries you create with where you're spending your time, the more effective you'll be to have a lifestyle that you love, and your business will start to grow. All right, I will talk to you soon. Have an awesome day, and over and out.